So in this video, we're going to generate the manufacturing files that we need to actually build the board. We can start by opening up the board we designed in the last video. There it is. Now, while I was looking at this design, I noticed a small problem, and that is that the board outline, the lines are actually, they have zero width. So we need to change that so that they'll actually show up in the output. So to do that, we can use the change tool and go in here and select a width. We'll select 2.54 millimeters, and you can just go click on these and they will become a little bit thicker, and those will now show up in the output. So we'll just save that. Now we need to generate the Gerber files, which are what we're going to send to the manufacturer to build the board. The first thing we have to do is load something called a CAM profile. CAM stands for Computer Aided Manufacturing, so we can select CAM from the open menu in the Eagle control panel, and that will let us choose which CAM profile we'd like to use. And just navigate to our GitHub repository and choose the 4PCB33 CAM file that's in there. That'll open up this window. Just switch back to your board and now select this little camera icon. This is the CAM processor. Click on that and it brings us back, and now we can see what's going to go on. So each one of these tabs across the top represents a different output file that the CAM processor is going to generate. We can look at this one. This is the top side copper layer. It's called the component side layer, and this tells us which layers are going to be output in that to the top layer of copper. So we have the top routing layer as well as the pads and the vias that we'll need as well. This is the file format. You don't need to mess with that. And this is the name of the file that's going to come out. So %n just represents the design name, and then it'll have the suffix CMP. The component side is the top. The solder side is called the bottom. That's kind of an anachronistic name, but that's the naming convention used in this CAM profile and by our board house. There's a silk screen layer on top and bottom, and the solder mask layer on top and bottom. There's also a drill file that tells the manufacturer where it needs to drill holes for the vias and the through-hole parts. So to generate all those files, you just click Process Job, and that's all done. You can close the CAM process, or you can close the board file as well. And then if you look in the directory with your design, you'll see that it's created a bunch of other files. We need to collect these into a single folder. So I'll just create a folder like that. And then you don't actually need all the files that it generated. It generates some extra ones that we don't really need. So you just need these 7. And there's a list of these in the lab, so you don't need to kind of stare at this video to figure out what to grab. But there's 7 files that you need. You can just drag those up into that directory. And there it is. And then at least on my Mac, I can just click compress, and that'll turn it into a zip file. This file is what we actually end up submitting to the manufacturer. And our particular manufacturer offers a free service that'll let us perform some kind of sanity checks. It's called a DFM check for design for manufacturing. So you can just go to I think it's actually free DFM. We'll get us there. So it's Advanced Circuits is the company, and upload your files. You just type in your email address. Choose the file. That's the one we need. And then go ahead and upload. That'll take just a minute. Now it's grabbed the contents of our zip file, and it's made some guesses about what the different layers represent, and you need to make sure these are correct. So the component side, that's the top copper, that's correct. The DRD, it's set as drawing and other. We actually need to change that to the NC drill, set that up properly, and the rest of these look pretty good. Here's some more information. This is just my details. And then you need to provide them some more information about how you'd like the board to be built. So you need a part number. You can just enter anything in here. It doesn't make any difference. You need to select the layer count. This is the number of copper layers. We're building a 2-sided board, so you just need 2. And now we need the X and Y dimensions of the board. And for this, you're going to have to go back into Eagle. So you go over here. I'll open up our board file again. Where is it? It's on the desktop. So they need to know the total size of the board, and Eagle provides some nice tools for doing those measurements. The easiest way to do this is to go in and use the measurement tool, which does not quite show up on the screen capture. There it is. There's the measurement tool right there. So I'll click on that, or I guess it's the dimension tool. And you can choose what kind of dimension you want. The default will usually work pretty well. You can just grab that and click off, and it'll tell you how long that side is. Now, for some reason, it's put these on the back side in the bottom copper layer. We don't actually want that. You can put them in the T-docu layer is a good place for them. Put them in T-docu. Docu. And then we also need to change it to inches, because that's what they want in that web form. So now we know that our board is 1.49 inches tall and 1.7 inches wide. So you go back here, and the X dimension is 1.7 inches, and the Y dimension is 1.49 inches. You can just enter 1 into all of these. You don't want any tab routing or scoring. And you can leave all these other options with their defaults. In fact, you need to get their cheap price for the board manufacturing. You should also click ICTAR No. That'll prevent a little administrative overhead that may show up. And then you click Submit. And they've told us we have some errors. There shouldn't be a bottom silk screen selected. What went wrong? So we can actually do both sides. So set that to both sides, and then click Submit. All right. So that's been submitted, and then what will happen in a little bit is that we'll receive an email with more information about how the check went, and we'll pick that up in the next video.